those special burdens becoming sort of the hobby horse, that sort of thing where it does begin to distort and everyone else thinks, this is the church that always goes after that.
Yep. I'll tell you how it's happened. People will tell you, why are you harping on that? For me, I began from 1983, say, to the end of the decade, people began to say to me, I think you're making home ministries feel second class because you're always talking about frontier missions. And I think they were right. So I had to work really hard to say, I really believe in reaching unreached peoples. I really do. They're lost. They have no chance. And I'm glad you're down there counseling at the pro-life. I'm glad you're working for homeless people in Minneapolis. I'm glad you care about economic issues. I'm glad. And I wrote a chapter in a collection, and I preached a sermon on the relationship between domestic ministries and frontier missions to try to get off my horse or to somehow make it more balanced. That's one. And the second is I just see it myself. I ask the Lord, God, protect me. And I find by my wider reading, I haven't said a word about this, and this. And I've said this 5 times in the last month. And I spot myself, these big empty holes here. These issues have gone away. This issue is just recurrent all the time. That's not, I can feel it myself. It's become a hobby horse.
Well, the question I was thinking of is you've given us some really good feedback. The place of feedback for preachers and pastors. How does a pastor make sure that they get good feedback and they're receiving it from somebody that's going to be helpful to them? How does that happen?
That last phrase is key.
That is key. Yeah, you can't make sure that happens, or only happens. You married, that's one way.
Yep. Wife will give you good feedback.
Give her permission.
Yep.
Give her permission. She's your best. She's the only person that'll tell you you've said the word absolutely too much. I mean, my wife is just checking my vocabulary regularly. She said, "Do you realize how often you say the word absolutely? Do you realize how?" No. Okay, that one goes aside, and here comes another one taking its place, and she has to chip in and tell me that one. So, wives are important. Your elders, ask them at all your elder meetings. Any feedback on the preaching. Talk to me, guys, because you want to fold them in and have them, and then read your mail. And so those 3 things, I think, for me anyway, have proved to be enough. When I say elders, I was together with the staff. Elders only monthly for a long time, or every 3 weeks at the end. My elders, my staff, every week. And so those 7 guys, I said, come on. And they didn't hesitate to say, I think you made so-and-so feel pretty bad with the way you said that, or they'll tell you right off that something went haywire in that sermon. Or they'll say nice things. My guys are pretty gentle. They were with me, but they weren't afraid.
But you got to open yourself up for the feedback.
Oh, you got to welcome.
Precisely. That's so good. I'm kind of taking that for granted. You got to communicate. I want this. I'm open to this. You don't lose your job, right? You don't become a second-class staff member because you're the one who regularly calls me out.
Dan Holtz told me I don't smile enough, and I said, yes, that's what I need. I need that type of feedback, to both at the exegetical level as well as the, what do I look like up there to help our people?
Precisely. Yeah. That's exactly right. We all, this is another whole lesson we don't have time for, but Spurgeon, it's usually not included in his lectures to his preaching, lectures on preaching, but there's a chapter in the original version on little things that people do that are like a fly in the ointment. Mm-hmm. He said, you got this wonderful smelling sermon of aroma, and this fly in it because the guy keeps rubbing his nose or scratching himself or doing some weird thing. I had a pastor one time, every time he looked down, he'd touch this little bald spot in his head right here. And it's kind of the way he covered his, I need my notes right now. And we would just mock it, like this. I see, he needs somebody telling him, can you just not touch your forehead next time you look? Like little teeny meaningless things. Like, okay, we can smile more. Thanks, guys. This has been good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pastor
Thank
John.
you.